Hi everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How are you? So today I was doing the exercise that I wrote in the blog, and I was trying to take out many of the things that I had inside, all expressions and so on, and suddenly I needed. I had the whole day this pain in my mouth, like in the teeth, like I needed to bite something, um, like anger and I don't know, something like this. So I was like with a lot of pain in my teeth, like I needed to release it somehow. So a few moments before, I just took some wood, the Palo Santo. I don't know how it's called in English. So I took that. Is the only thing that I just grabbed in the table, and I was biting it like if it was meat. And it's been years without eating meat, but it's kind of my teeth needed that feeling of biting something really hard, and I did it a lot and like an animal, and now I'm feeling fine, so nice. So yes, I had to bite like an animal, biting something, to release all the tension of the body. Okay. So let's begin with information for today. So you can understand why I'm biting wood. So topic for today is, how do you say expressivity or expressiveness? Expressivity, isn't it? Expressiveness. Thank you. So remember this about the word for today, that ex means out and pressio means pressure. So expression means to get out of pressure. So what is expressiveness? Is the ability or the quality to get out of the pressure. So remember that we have said that expression is related to the energy that we create in our bodies. Whenever we do an action, we take action in something, we do things in our daily life, we are generating energy all the time. So if we stock that energy for ourselves, if we keep storing that energy within, not being able to get it out, we can get sick, we can get frustrated, we will have so much pressure that we will live under pressure. We will live we will live like this, like with many problems in our body, in ourselves, that we cannot manifest. So what we have to do is to let this energy go out, to express that energy that we have within in many different ways. So the concept to give away this pressure of energy is expression. Expression is the way in which we can release that tension and manifest that energy that we have within into the outside. Expressiveness, it says, never said this word before. Expressiveness is the quality of those who express. So it means that we know the ways, the tools, we know the different ways in which we can manifest this energy in the outside. So it's the quality that each one of us have in order to let this pressure that is within to be released into the outside. So today in the blog, I wrote about why it's so hard for us, the topic of expression and how to express the ways in which we express things. The reason why it's so difficult for a lot of people to express themselves is because of culture and the morals. So remember these two concepts. The first one, culture. Culture comes from the word colere, that means to harvest. It's related to the cultives. And moral comes from moris, that means inhabit. Like, for example, the word morade, a place where you live. So these two concepts are straight related to expression. So let's go to the past first, so we can understand, as always, what we are today. So going back to the past, and as a summary of what we have spoken in another moment, remember that we were nomads at the beginning of humanity. So as nomads, we were traveling around in the planet, and basically we kept the communication by traditions. Traditions come from the word tradire, that is to speak between, okay, to say something between. So this means that everything was said, and the information was said through the trips and, well, going around the planet. So it was all oral. But once we discover the agriculture, we started to settle. So that's why we became sedentarian. So when we became sedentary in one spot, we started to live according to that region and according to the food that we can grow in that region. That's why we started to adapt our way of understanding the world according to a place where we live and according to what we eat in that place. And that's what gave us the culture of a region. And that's what also gave us the way in which we will live that culture, which is moral, the morality. So remember that in the past, we were not allowed to do something different from this culture or moral, because if we do that, it could bring us problems, even death. So they kept the tradition of these cultures and morality, so we could understand how to live properly in that region. So whoever wanted to change that, it put in jeopardy, in conflict, all the culture and all the morality. So everything that was expressed, that kept the tradition, the things that we speak about, had to be related with the culture and the morality. So what happened with this? That the people that thought, that had a different way of thinking in these cultures, they just shut up and didn't express all the things that they had within. So the reason why we shut up was because of fear of not being accepted by this culture or morality, or fear to make this culture and morality be in jeopardy. This is why even today we have a lot of problems trying to express what we feel, what we think, trying to express what we have within, because we are afraid of what others might think about us, what others might say about what we do. And this is because of tradition. Tell me if you never have gone through this sensation of being afraid to say what I feel, to say or express what I have inside. And the reason why we all have gone through that is because of culture, because of the environment that surrounds us. So now it's easy to set ourselves in the victim position, to say why this happens to me, there are so many bullies around and so on. But let's give some credit to the society that is like this. Why society attack and judge the things that are different? Because they are afraid. Culture and morality were created because of being afraid of the environment. They were created to protect from the different things. So they are afraid. They are not aggressive. They are scared. Looking at this in this way, we can understand that there's no bad people. There's people that is scared. And basically, if I am attacked by them, is because I'm scaring them, because what I do is expressing things that maybe they don't like, because they are scared about what I say, or what I do, or what I am. Like, for example, as a tiny example, of course that at school I was the faggot all the time. So I was bullied by that. And there was once that this guy, he was telling me like many bad things, and one of the silly things, it was like who you like and blah blah, and I actually liked him, so I told him you, and that was the last day that anyone said anything to me. So just because I expressed the truth, that was the end. So what happens here? That expression is a tool for culture and morality. So eventually, some of these people that had these expressions that they needed to release, they found out a way in which they were able to express all this, but not offending the culture, not being aggressive to morality. And that place was a spot of security where they could sit and observe all these expressions without being afraid. So they created what they call a place where you sit and observe the expression. And that's the theater. Theater means thea, observation, and ter comes from tron, that means throne, a place where you sit. So a place where you sit to observe, theater, theatron. So the theater was one of the arts that allowed the people to express whatever, not offending the culture. So now, this here, this place of expression, the theater, is the one that allows us to have artistic action. Artistic, arts, comes from the Latin ars, which is like to order, to set, to put order on something. And agere is action. Agere, action, which means to move forward, to move and do something. Yeah, to move something ahead. That would be to move something ahead. So to move the order ahead is like putting order into something. So where is going to put order? Within, in our own expression. So what this action, this artistic action, will try to order by movement? The humors. We have spoken about humors in another videos. So remember, why the humors? Why it will order the humors? Well, let's go to the idea. Humors comes from the word humus, that means wet land. The origin is humidity. And remember that in the ancient times, the people believed that our interior of our body was made with different humors, with different liquids, and those liquids were the ones that control the water, the soul, the spirit, the emotions, and so on. So that's why with the time we started to call humors to our states of emotion. So the artistic action, what it was meant to do is to order the humors within our beings. So these humors were suppressed, were oppressed in the inside, so they needed to be expressed through arts. So there were people in the past that started to be the ones representing how to order these humors within. So they were the representative of the action. And that's what we call the actors and the actress, which are the people that represent the artistic action in order to express. So these people were the ones able to show the reality through the humors. So that's why they started to use humor in order to show stuff that in the reality you would never do, like laugh of the king, laugh of the normal people, do weird things with the gods. You could do whatever you wanted, and in that specific spot, everything was art. And no one could judge that because it was only expression. So the theater was the place where the actors and actresses were helping the people to live for a while all the emotions, the hunger, the sadness, the laughter, the judgments, all the different things that you were never able to do in the normal life. There you could express it. You could see it become reality. So through history, the theater, now the cinema, all the kinds of action, of acting skills would be done as a way to measure the humor of a population, to show by fake stories what is happening in the inside of a society. It's like a way in which the theaters were used in order to show all these stories outside, to measure how the people were thinking, really, but they were scared to do it in the real life. So, for example, something that I was watching a a few months ago was this situation like 20 years ago, until 20 years ago, everyone had really clear the difference between the superhero and the villain. And everyone wanted to be the superhero because we knew that the villain was someone doing bad things to the life, to our life, to the system. So suddenly, so we were like all willing to be the one that protects everything, the life, the system, and so on. But the last decade, the theaters, the arts, the cinema started to show a very different humor of society, in which the villain became much more accepted than the actual hero, in which people started to feel much more related with the villain than with the superhero, because the villain was against the system. And the people today is so tired of politicians, of the system, and so on, that now we honor the villains that go over the system, you know. So this kind of feelings are the ones that the theater, the action, is trying to show from the humor of the people. Nobody would go and kill politicians, because that's not something that the people that lives kind of in the center or repressed would do. But in the arts, they show it, and everyone smiles when you see that. It's like why? Because usually they are showing a kind of a society humor. So this means that we have so many things to say that are repressed, oppressed in our inner world, that we don't know how to tell them or to express them in the real world, but maybe we can do that acting. When we cannot do it in the outer world, and we take action, and we want to take action on that, what we can do is to act, to take a part, a role in action. So remember that the body, the soul, the spirit, the brain sees everything as an illusion. For the brain is everything an illusion. So what you can do is to do that situation as if it is a play, in an artistically talking, as if it is a play in which you do that action, making believe your brain that it is really happening. So you are releasing the tension and the energy. That's a psychomagic expression in which you just take out all these energies that you have inside, and your brain, your cells, interpret it as real. So so when you have this these things inside, this repression inside, sometimes the things that you want to say, the person that you want to tell to, there's not there anymore. Maybe that person died, or maybe I would love to bite that person, and I don't, and my culture would say you don't do that. That's weird, you know. So like I did today. So so what is the solution? So the solution would be to act that, to make an imagination around acting that situation and taking a part on that. So your brain and your body will be really thankful for that, because for the body, is truth. So, for example, you can just let out whatever you have inside. Like maybe you just have the need to act like a dog, barking and walking in four paws, and I don't know, scream like a crazy. Act your situation, things that usually you wouldn't do in front of the other people. This is the concept of expressiveness, which is to do whatever you have within, and you say, I'm not good enough to do this, or I'm scared to do this, but you just do it. It doesn't really matter. Just act that. For example, I don't know to play the piano. I have no idea how. So I just sit down and do whatever. Just play like a kid. And that's it. Just leave your energy move. That's the quality of expression, expression. So in this way, we can actually let out all the potentials that we have within, that by fear we are not allowing it to go out. I would just recommend you to do this, even if it is a tiny thing, because for some people it's easier, for some others it's really difficult, but don't repress yourself. If it's aggression, what you want to express is aggression. Doesn't matter. If it's sexuality, it's sexuality. Don't judge yourself. Just do it. So it's all about letting get out the things that you don't usually would do with other people or in front of other people. So when you are alone, it doesn't really matter. You can do whatever you want, because there is a truth that you must know. God is everywhere. So God doesn't have morality. So the task for today is to look for that sacred spot for you that represents the learning, the expression, and just do it. Whatever. So for those who doesn't know me, maybe it doesn't make any sense, but for those who really know me, today I did it. I was dancing in between the palm trees. Dancing. I would never do that, never. So I was dancing there, and I was screaming to one of the palm trees, saying a lot of bad words, thinking about someone, and that's why, Joe. So some people were passing by, like they know me, and it's all good. Yes, it was all fine. So that would be expressivity, expressiveness. That's, I never said the word. The vibration for today is G. The statement for today is, I am designer of the music.